Democrats are still pushing ahead with their plans for the 2016 presidential campaign. The New York Times reports the party sees no other choice with the quote, "Mrs. Clinton, many Democrats say, is simply too big to fail." But the Washington Post today says senior Democrats are increasingly worried Clinton is not ready to run for president. Let's talk about it with Danielle Halper, the online editor for the Weekly Standard. Jonathan Allen is Bloomberg's Washington, D.C. bureau chief. Both have written books on Hillary Clinton. Her putative campaign, Jonathan, is it or is she too big to fail?
Well, it's as close as any campaign at this point could be to being too big to fail. Of course, what we know from too big to fail is that some companies actually did fail. And from a political perspective, I don't think there's any guarantee on her getting the White House. The problem for Democrats is she may be too big to fail within their primary.
How nervous, Daniel, are Democrats over this issue? The email thing seems to be growing rather than receding.
I think they're increasingly nervous. I think we see this in the support that other candidates seem to be getting. Martin O'Malley seems to be getting a little bit of support. Same with, there seem to be calls, additional calls for people like Elizabeth Warren and Deval Patrick to get into the race. Frankly, I think it's hysterical that we're talking about whether Hillary Clinton's too big to fail, because so many people are benefiting off the bank of Clinton, and that's what keeps the machine running and going from time on. So there are plenty of people who want to see Hillary's success for sure. But I think Democratic loyalists tend to see a weaker candidate, and they've sort of forgot how weak Hillary can be in political settings, as we saw her during her press conference this week.
Staying with you for a minute, though, in terms of her ability as a candidate, it has been said many times this week that she is not her husband. She is not gregarious and maybe charming like Bill Clinton can be.
Look, she kind of hid from public view going to the State Department. As she likes to brag, she flew almost 1 million miles. She was around the world, anywhere but here. She hardly was in front of the American people taking tough political questions. Then after the State Department, she kind of went silent for almost 2 years. People have forgotten that she isn't her husband, that she's not a talented politician in that way. She's not able to grip and grin and to charm people and to just exude confidence in the way her husband is. Even during scandal, she can't be exciting. So I think it's problematic.
And, well, problematic, Jonathan. I mean, for the administration, this is a real problem. You heard Josh Earnest saying, basically, we don't want to deal with this. But they have to, don't they, one way or the other?
Well, I think the raising of legal questions, whether or not she broke laws, is going to be an important one. Right now, the State Department has not yet shared any information with the press in terms of whether she signed that document in Doug McKelway's report certifying that she had returned records. If there's a legal issue, the president's in a little bit of a box. He either investigates his former Secretary of State and the Democratic frontrunner for the presidency, or he doesn't and looks like he's covering up for her. I think the White House has been very careful in how they talked about this. It doesn't look like Josh Earnest wants to marry himself to Hillary Clinton's narrative of what happened any more than Barack Obama would, or many other Democratic officials were, because they just don't know the answer to the story. This is going to be something that's difficult for the Democratic Party for a long time to come.
Yeah, Daniel. I mean, this is an administration that's quick to investigate, you know, the Ferguson Police Department, for instance, but there doesn't seem to be any appetite to look into whether the former Secretary of State here broke the law.
But we have seen a shift as of late. The administration, I think, has picked up on the fact that it is not just the Hillary Clinton scandal, it's an Obama administration scandal. And that's why you see them distancing themselves from Hillary Clinton. That's why you see them saying, well, she's on her own, this is her scandal, and they're saying you have to check with her whether she broke the rules. We don't really want to get into those questions. I think there's a deep understanding there that it could do harm to Obama, to President Obama, and to his administration. And it is something that they're very cognizant of, even though obviously it's very hard to imagine seeing somebody like Eric Holder investigating Hillary Clinton. As Jonathan said, the Obama administration is not going to be wanting to go after the presumptive or the strong Democratic candidate.
And this scandal just does not seem to be going away. Jonathan Allen, Danielle Halper, thank you both.
Thank you.
More books to come, I'm sure, from those guys about all this. We want to hear from you. Some Democrats suggest Hillary Clinton